Is a small, arid and rocky planet, the fourth planet in a six-planet system orbiting the Darwin binary stars, located approximately 6.5 light-years from Earth's solar system. With low gravity and a dense, hazy atmosphere, the planet hosts a rich diversity of complex life forms. Remarkably, most native species lack eyes and instead navigate their environment through echolocation and infrared perception. These organisms come in a bewildering array of forms, many of them unlike anything found on Earth. As depicted in both Wayne Barlowe's illustrated book Expedition and its documentary adaptation Alien Planet, Darwin IV represents humanity's first contact with complex extraterrestrial life, a milestone in exploration and the central setting for both narrative. Above the jagged plains and fungal forests of Darwin IV stretches the Velum Caeli, a dense, ever-shifting sky of amber haze and violet currents. Shaped by low gravity and thick atmosphere, this aerial realm teems with strange and silent forms. Here, evolution has sculpted creatures that soar without wings as we know them, gliding on thermal updrafts and drifting like living kite. Some are massive, drifting through the high air like biological zeppelins. Others dart swiftly between layers of cloud, hunting by sound and heat rather than sight. These beings are eyeless, elegant and utterly alien, adapted to a world where vision is useless and the sky itself is alive. The ebony blisterwing is one of the most colossal aerial life forms native to Darwin IV. With an astonishing wingspan of nearly 300 meters, it rivals the emperor sea strider in size, making it not only the largest known flying organism on the planet but also one of the largest creatures in its entire biosphere. This majestic being inhabits only the skies, a permanent resident of Darwin IV's thick atmosphere. It soars effortlessly over the vast plains, carried by massive, gas-filled bladders embedded in its body and wings. These buoyant structures allow it to glide for long distances without the need for constant flapping, adapting perfectly to the planet's low gravity and dense air. True to its name, the blisterwing is cloaked in deep ebony and dark brown tones, which help it blend into the upper reaches of the sky. One of its most distinctive features is its forked tail, described by Wayne Barlowe as twin tail booms, which may help stabilize its immense frame in flight. The creature's diet remains a mystery. It might feed on microscopic airborne organisms or small sky-dwelling flyers, though some have speculated it may possess a form of photosynthesis. This isn't purely speculative fantasy. On Earth, animals like the sea slug Alicia chlorotica have evolved the ability to harness sunlight through symbiotic algae, suggesting such a biological strategy isn't beyond possibility on Darwin IV. Whatever its true nature, the ebony blisterwing remains an awe-inspiring symbol of the alien beauty that rules the skies of this distant world. The Scavengewing's carrion feeding unit possesses a highly specialized digestive system, uniquely adapted to consume matter in advanced stages of decomposition. This feeding module is released with remarkable precision from altitudes reaching up to 1,500 meters. Once feeding is complete, the larger, balloon-like aerial module retrieves the ground unit by enveloping it in its own mouth, a process that gives the illusion it is consuming the feeder itself. The skewer is a sleek, deadly flyer from Darwin IV, known for its high speed, jet-like movements and mastery of the planet's powerful air current. First observed in 2358 during the first Darwinian expedition, it is one of the most widespread and feared predators on the planet. These creatures hunt alone, in mated pairs, or sometimes in coordinated pods, using ultra-high-frequency sonar pulses to locate prey. Their thick bodies and curved nasal lances give them a formidable presence in the skies. Skewers attack by folding their leathery wings and diving in powerful plunges toward unsuspecting prey, usually targeting herd stragglers. Prey like cymets try to confuse them with sonar-disrupting sounds or deceptive body shapes, but skewers are rarely thrown off. A successful strike sees the lance drive clean through the prey, followed by smaller flyers like followings swarming the victim for scraps. The skewer, meanwhile, uses a series of chitin-tipped tongues inside its lance to drain the prey midair. Sometimes these predators appear to toy with their kills, tossing them between individuals before discarding the desiccated husk. Their accordion-like wing muscles allow precise control in both rapid dives and extended glide. However, propulsion comes from internal methane-like gas combusted in 4 jet-like engines, 2 per wing. Skewers range across 90% of the planet, preying on nearly all large species, including arrowtongues and even the mighty emperor sea strider. The lance is a sophisticated structure, hollow, braced like a titanium blade, and surprisingly flexible. Skewers are sometimes observed honing these weapons on volcanic spires, maintaining their deadly sharpness. Mating occurs mid-flight, showcasing their perfect adaptation to aerial life. Despite their size and power, the skewer's survival hinges on its delicate feeding apparatus, an elegant contrast in its otherwise brutal nature. The violet following is a small, violet-colored scavenger flyer from Darwin IV, first studied during the first Darwinian expedition. These agile, arrow-shaped creatures travel in tight-knit flocks, flying with remarkable precision as they track large predators like skewers. During a hunt, they follow closely behind the skewers, mirroring their movements and waiting for a kill. Once a prey animal is impaled, the followings swarm in a frenzy, tearing off scraps with their specialized jaws. After the skewer finishes draining its victim, the followings descend to strip the carcass clean, often leaving behind nothing but bones. The gillhead is an agile bipedalian from Darwin IV that is one of the main sources of prey for Eosapiens. It is one of the few creatures on Darwin IV to not be hermaphroditic. Standing 2 meters tall, males have more elongated horns than females. The Eosapien is the most intelligent and enigmatic creature on Darwin IV, standing at the top of its world both mentally and physically. This massive, floating omnivore, named Eosapien or Dawn Thinker, represents a life form on the verge of true sentience. First observed by Wayne Barlowe near the Amoebic Sea in 2361, the Eosapien impressed not only through its immense size, reaching 20 meters, but also through its striking behavior, social complexity, and eerie awareness of its observers. The Eosapien moves gracefully through the air using buoyant gas bladders, large jet-like siphons, and precise muscle control, capable of hovering motionless or maneuvering in any direction. Its alien body is adorned with pulsing float bladders, ridges, glowing biolights, and sonar booms used for communication and environmental awareness. Its 2 long, muscular arms end in nimble hands with opposable fingers, used for handling objects, tearing prey, and even wielding heavy club-like weapons. Eosapiens sometimes chew slowly on plant material while holding their clubs, revealing a degree of calm and introspective behavior. One of the Eosapiens' most fascinating features is its reproductive strategy. From a sheath under its tail, it launches missile-shaped oothisi, or egg projectiles, which expand and float in the atmosphere after slowing. These organic darts contain embryonic life and are released under specific atmospheric conditions. Some may drift over vast distances before hatching, showing a sophisticated method of dispersal and survival. Eosapiens are social beings that travel in small hunting parties, communicating with sonar pulses and visual signals. Each individual bears a unique pattern of glowing biolights, and some wear trophies, vertebrae or bones, from previous kills, hinting at identity or status. When interacting with unfamiliar objects, they may touch them delicately, with what seems like curiosity, even caution. As predators, Eosapiens are deadly. Their usual prey includes creatures like cymates, gillheads, and even larger apex predators such as arrowtongues and skewers. In hunts, they often release their projectiles to herd prey into narrow spaces, then descend to strike. Their attacks are brutal, legs are torn from sockets, and the bodies are lifted into the sky, dripping black blood across the terrain. Even flying predators can be knocked from the air with spears. Despite this savagery, there's a sense of intelligence behind every move. Coordinated attacks, shared communication, and calm observation all hint at a deeper mind at work. These floaters sometimes visit the amoebic sea to feed on massive gelatinous bubbles that drift upward, puncturing them with their trunks to drink the nutrient-rich content. In the end, the Eosapien is more than just a predator, it is a creature of thought, emotion, and possibly culture. It exists at a threshold between instinct and reason, between alien creature and intelligent being. Its solemn presence, brutal efficiency, and quiet curiosity make it the most haunting and compelling life form encountered on Darwin IV. The Rugose floater is a large, slow-moving aerial creature from Darwin IV, first thoroughly observed near Mons Burton in the Equatorial Mountains. These floaters travel in wide, lazy circles through the sky, with no sense of urgency. They are considered archetypal among Darwin IV's floaters, yet they possess unique traits that set them apart. One of the most notable features is the presence of small, trailing globules on their enlarged upper and lower fins. These are actually egg masses. As the Rugose floater glides through the air, the egg globules break apart and scatter with the wind, spreading the creature's progeny across the mid-atmosphere. Their circular flight path is ideal for this wide dispersal. Once spawning is complete, the fins return to a more streamlined crescent shape. Unlike other floaters, the Rugose floater has no visible eurostalks. Instead, it relies on internal balance organs, making it unique in its locomotion. In moments of threat, it can release clouds of fine, chaff-like particles that disrupt sonar detection and momentarily confuse predators. However, this defense isn't always successful. Skewers, known for their aggression and sometimes recreational killing, have been observed piercing Rugose floaters despite the countermeasures. Another extraordinary ability of this species is its capacity for color change, a rare trait among Darwin IV's visually underdeveloped life forms. These color shifts, ranging from browns to deep reds and purples, may serve as a form of chemical or courtship communication, possibly correlating with scent. Observations of Rugose floaters hovering kilometers apart have recorded synchronized or responsive color transitions, suggesting a form of distant interaction or mating ritual. Despite the scientific mysteries they pose, the sight of these slow, massive beings floating gently through the sky, changing hues in silence, remains one of the most haunting and beautiful spectacles on Darwin IV. The Equatorial Mountains form a striking, planet-encircling range that defines the planet's central geography. Unlike Earth's fragmented mountain systems, this continuous chain wraps around the equator, resembling the equatorial ridge of Saturn's moon Iapetus. The range is geologically young, with sharp, jagged peaks that rarely retain snow year-round, underscoring Darwin IV's active tectonics and dynamic crustal processes. These mountains are believed to have formed through convective forces beneath the planet's surface, possibly influenced by Coriolis effects that directed tectonic activity toward the equator. This process has resulted in a continuous, elevated band that stands in stark contrast to the vast plains and former seabeds dominating much of Darwin IV's terrain. The mountain's relative isolation and elevation create microclimates that foster biodiversity distinct from the surrounding plains. While descending into the cloud-wrapped equatorial mountains of Darwin IV, the first expedition briefly spotted a mysterious species, the Transalpine floater. It emerged silently from behind a ridge, drifting low over a gorge before vanishing into the mist. Larger than most floaters, it bore silvery ridged float bladders and a translucent undercarriage. No sonar was recorded, suggesting it may glide passively on thermals. Seen only once, it's thought to be a migratory species, traversing mountain ranges between atmospheric systems. The cragspringer is a wingless but extremely agile herbivore, capable of leaping over 20-meter chasms with ease and minimal injury. It feeds primarily on screeweed growing on vertical cliffs, locating it through airborne spores and using specialized facial grooves to scrape the plant from rock surfaces. These feeding behaviors leave distinctive marks on the stone and often involve entire groups responding reflexively to spore cloud. At dusk, cragspringers are illuminated by their natural biolights, creating a striking visual against the darkening sky. Their activity ceases by nightfall, possibly due to their internal rhythms or the rise of evening predators. The springwing is a gliding, herbivorous tripe closely related to the cragspringer. They were first discovered near Mons Burton and Mons Speak during the first Darwinian expedition. Springwings use their dragonfly-like wings to expertly glide on mountain air currents, spiraling gracefully downward between peaks without ever flapping. There are several species, such as the 2-meter-long lesser mountain springwing and the larger greater mountain springwing, the latter distinguished by an elaborate cranial crest used in aerial dominance displays that can result in fatal wing tears. These creatures thrive in a harsh alpine environment, spending their days scaling cliffs and gliding in search of cliff polyps, which they forage with their beaked mouths. Springwings land with astonishing precision, folding their leathery wings seamlessly and using balance fins to stabilize themselves while navigating narrow ledges. At nightfall, they, like other mountain herbivores, retreat to rest, either due to natural circadian rhythms or the threat of nocturnal predators. The keeled slider is a large, herbivorous bipedalian native to the foothills of Darwin IV's Equatorial Mountains, first discovered near Fugum Shingen in 2359. Unlike most creatures on the planet, they are not hermaphroditic, with distinct male and female roles in reproduction. These creatures leave distinctive furrows and scuff marks across the hillsides, evidence of their slow, dragging movement. They are typically quiet and still, emitting only sparse sonar pings until rainfall triggers dramatic changes in behavior tied to mating and nesting. During heavy rain, the female digs a deep underground nest using her feeding palps and ovipositor, lays about 20 eggs, and slides away, followed by the male who fertilizes the eggs. Though it once appeared they abandoned their nests, it's now known that both parents return to care for their altricial young, an unusual trait for egg layers on Darwin IV. After the rain, the landscape appears empty, with only parallel grooves in the mud marking the recent activity. The keeled slider's young stay with their parents for up to 2 years, requiring extended care in stark contrast to the planet's typically precocial hatchlings. The cimmet is a migratory, herbivorous bipedalian with a unique fore and aft symmetry found in the plains and Equatorial Mountains of Darwin IV. During seasonal migrations, large herds fill the air with sonar pings and dust as they move across the landscape and gather at water sources. Their unusual body shape confuses predators, especially during high-speed attacks, as it's difficult to tell which end is the head. When threatened, they rotate rapidly in dust clouds and emit trilling sounds to jam sonar, though some predators like the Eosapian can still outmaneuver their defenses. The bladderhorn is a solitary, blue, herbivorous bipedalian from the Equatorial Mountains of Darwin IV, known for its eerie, echoing calls. These calls are produced by the inflation and deflation of its antler bladders, resulting in a loud honking sound that can be heard for kilometers. The sound is primarily used as a territorial warning, especially during mating season when it becomes more frequent and intense. Bladderhorns live near mountain streams, where they forage for red mountain spike, an aquatic plant that is difficult to find, forcing them to spend most of their time searching for food. Because of these scarce resources, they are highly territorial, using both sound and vivid biolight signals to deter intruders. Occasionally, they venture beyond streams to feed on underground mountain flora in nearby passes and high plains. When two bladderhorns meet, they perform a ritualistic dominance display, inflating their antlers in sharp bursts and circling each other slowly in a stiff, tiptoed dance. Though this may appear comical, it is a serious contest that often results in bloody but non-lethal injuries. Despite their somewhat elk-like appearance and behavior, the bladderhorn's sonic display and inflatable antlers are wholly alien, making them one of the most distinctive and dramatic creatures of Darwin IV.